I never should have clicked that post. It was buried deep in a conspiracy thread, just a title that read, Kyle H93 will die in 7 days. My username, word for word. Nobody outside of 2 close friends knew it, and I hadn't used Reddit in months. I stared at the screen, pulse pounding. It wasn't a joke thread. There were 0 upvotes, 1 comment, and the post timestamped exactly 1 hour ago. The comment just said, "It's already watching." I clicked on the user profile. The last witness. No post history. No comment karma. The account was created the same day. I refreshed the page. The post was gone. At first, I laughed it off. Probably just some weird bot. Coincidence, right? But deep down, it unsettled me. I had always joked about dying young. It was a stupid running gag. But something about this felt planned. That night, I heard a knock at my apartment door. It was 3:14 a.m. 1 knock, then silence. I live alone on the 3rd floor. No one can reach that door without buzzing in. I checked the peephole. Nothing. Dead air. Then my phone vibrated. New Reddit notification. From a username I didn't follow. 6 days left. Don't open the door again. I didn't sleep. Called my friend Lucas the next morning. Told him everything. He said I was overthinking it. That night, I stayed with him. Just in case. We played games, joked around, and I started to feel normal again. Until his dog, a normally chill mutt, started growling at the kitchen wall. Not barking, just growling. And then whining. There was no one there. But the wall had fresh scratches. 3 parallel gouges like claws. The next day, Lucas got a message too. Anonymous email. The subject line? You shouldn't have helped him. Lucas laughed. Until he found his back door open, even though it was locked from the inside. He said he was done. Told me to figure it out myself. Day 4. I tried to get ahead of it. Searched everywhere. Forums, old threads, Reddit archives. Nothing. Until I found a post from 11 years ago, archived in some obscure paranormal subreddit. Title: Usernames that attracted. Inside was a short list of 9 usernames. Most were deleted. One was mine, Kyle H93. Beside it, in brackets, marked 2024. And below the post, a comment by someone longband read, "It shows up after the 3rd night. You won't see it, but it sees you." That same night, I took a selfie for Instagram. Nothing weird. Until I looked closely. In the corner of the picture, behind me, a figure, barely visible. Long arms. No face. Just a silhouette with glowing, deep red eyes. It was inside my apartment. I bolted. Checked every corner. Nothing. But my phone started playing static. On its own. Then a whisper. 3 more days, Kyle. I turned it off. Threw it across the room. Day 5. I went to the cops. They laughed. Even when I showed the photo, they said it was edited. Could be AI, one officer muttered. I begged for protection. They gave me a number for a therapist. I checked back on Reddit. The profile the last witness was active again. Posting live. It read, "He told the police. It's closer now. He won't make it past Sunday." I couldn't even reply. Blocked. I rented a cabin 2 hours out of town. No neighbors. No internet. Just isolation. But it followed. That night, the power died. All electronics bricked. My phone wouldn't turn on. And outside the cabin, footsteps in the gravel. Heavy. Slow. Something dragged across the door like fingertips. Then, tapping on the window. 3 times. I didn't look. I just sat in a corner with a baseball bat and prayed for dawn. Day 7. I drove back home. Broke every speed limit. No more Reddit. No more searching. Just silence. Until I got a final notification. Email. Subject line, "It's time." Inside was just one image. My body, slumped over my desk. Phone in hand. Timestamped 20 minutes into the future. It's been 20 minutes. I don't know what happens next. But if you're reading this, and someone posts your username in a thread, don't click it. Don't search. Don't look behind you. The first voicemail came exactly 6 days after the funeral. It was 2:13 a.m. The number? Unknown. But the voice? Unmistakably my brother, James. He said just 2 words. Whispered, almost broken. "Help me." I dropped the phone. It clattered to the floor, the screen still glowing. There was no static. No distortion. Crystal clear, like he was right there. But James was dead. Buried. I watched them lower the coffin. I convinced myself it was a prank. Maybe someone using AI or a voice app. But no one outside our family even knew how James sounded. And those 2 words? It was the exact phrase he always said when we played horror games as kids. Help me, he'd say, pretending to be stuck in the closet. It was our thing. The second voicemail came the next night. Longer this time. It's dark. I can't move. They're watching. I hear them crawl. Don't let them in, Kyle. He said my name. He sounded terrified. And he was crying. But again, no number. Just unknown. I called the phone company. They checked my logs. No calls at that time. No records. They told me it was probably spam. But I saw the tech guy's face. He was spooked too. I went to James' grave that day. It was cold. Overcast. The wind sharp, like it was slicing whispers into my ears. I sat there for hours, not saying anything. Just listening. Then my phone buzzed. Voicemail. No call. Just the recording. Don't listen to the priest. Don't trust Mom. Don't come home. My mouth went dry. I played it again. The voice was shaky. And behind him, faint, scratching sounds. Like nails on wood. Was he in the coffin? I confronted my mom. Asked her if James had ever said anything strange before he died. She looked shaken, like she'd been expecting the question. He told me, she whispered, that something was following him. Something from the basement of the old church. I stared at her. What church? She wouldn't say. Later that night, I broke into James' apartment. He'd lived alone. The place was untouched, exactly as he left it. Except for the closet. There were claw marks inside. Deep gouges, like someone had tried to dig their way out. I found his old phone. Dead. But I took it anyway. Back home, I plugged in his phone. It powered on. Battery at 1%. No SIM card. But it had one voicemail saved. From me. Only. I never sent it. It was dated for next week. The voice was mine, but frantic. Breathing hard, whispering. It's real, James. I found it. I let it out. I'm sorry. It's coming for you now. The file cut off. The phone died. I threw up. I couldn't breathe. How was this possible? I burned the phone. Destroyed the SIM. That night, I got a final voicemail. From my own number. It was only one sentence. You were supposed to save me. The next morning, James' coffin was found empty. No signs of forced entry. Just scratch marks on the inside lid. And a voicemail notification on the funeral director's phone. From an unknown number. It was supposed to be an ordinary weekend trip. My girlfriend, Emma, and I decided to spend 2 days in a remote hotel just outside the city, away from everything. It was advertised as a quiet, peaceful retreat, and I thought it would be perfect for our anniversary. The moment we arrived, something felt off. The hotel had a strange, dated look, as though it hadn't been renovated in decades. The lobby was dark, with only a few low lights casting long shadows across the worn carpet. The receptionist, an older man, didn't say much when we checked in. His eyes seemed to linger on us a little too long before he handed us the key to room 207. We don't get many guests this time of year, he said, his voice raspy. Enjoy your stay. It felt weird, but we shrugged it off. The trip was supposed to be a break from work, a break from everything. That night, around 2 a.m., Emma and I were lying in bed, scrolling through our phones. The only sounds were the occasional creaks of the building settling. But then, there was a noise. It came from downstairs, from the basement, like something heavy was being dragged across the floor. At first, I thought it was the sound of the hotel's old pipes, but it kept going. Thud. Scrape. Thud. I tried to ignore it, but after a few minutes, I couldn't take it anymore. I'm going to check it out, I whispered to Emma, who was already half asleep. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and stepped into the hallway. The air was cold, too cold for a summer night. As I approached the stairs leading down to the basement, the noise grew louder. Someone was definitely down there. I wasn't the type to go snooping around at 2 a.m., but something told me I had to. The basement door was unlocked, and I pushed it open. The room was dark, the only light coming from a flickering bulb overhead. I took a few steps inside, shining my phone's light around the room. The basement was empty, at least at first glance. But as I moved toward the far corner, something caught my eye. There, against the wall, was an old security camera monitor, the kind you'd see in a police station or a mall. It was dusty, the screen cracked, but it was still on. I walked closer, and that's when I noticed something even more unsettling. The screen wasn't showing the usual empty hallways. It was showing footage of our room, our bed, Emma and me, lying there on our phones. My heart stopped. The camera feed was live. I immediately turned around and ran back up the stairs, nearly tripping in my panic. Emma was awake when I got back to the room. and I could see the worry in her eyes. What happened? What did you find? There's a camera in the basement, I said, trying to catch my breath. A live feed of our room. Emma's face drained of color. What? We need to leave. Now. We packed quickly, not bothering to take everything. Just the essentials. I called the front desk, but when I picked up the phone, there was no answer. I rushed down to the lobby, but it was completely empty. There was no sign of the receptionist. As I was about to call the police, something strange happened. The TV in the lobby flickered on. The screen was static at first, but then it came into focus, showing a live feed of the hotel's hallway. The image was grainy, but I could see a figure moving down the hallway, walking slowly, almost methodically. The figure turned into the hallway that led to the basement. I was frozen, my heart pounding in my chest. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. I spun around, but no one was there. Then, the voice. "Don't leave, Kyle." I turned around again, and standing at the end of the hallway was the receptionist. He was smiling, but his eyes were wide and unblinking. "Don't go," he repeated. "You're not supposed to leave." I was terrified, but I couldn't move. I could feel the panic rising, my legs shaking as I tried to keep my composure. Then, something caught my eye on the security monitor behind the desk. The screen flickered again, and the image changed. The camera feed that had shown our room was now showing the basement, the exact spot where I had stood minutes ago. And in the corner, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A face. A pale, contorted face, pressed up against the glass of the security monitor, staring directly at me. I didn't wait another second. I grabbed Emma's hand and ran for the door, not even bothering to check out. We sprinted to the car and drove off without looking back. I never went back to that hotel. I never even told Emma everything that happened that night. The security footage, the eyes in the hallway, the strange voice. But the worst part? After we left, I searched for that hotel online. It didn't exist. There was no trace of it anywhere. No reviews, no photos, nothing. It was as if the hotel had never been there at all. But then, a week ago, I received an email. The subject line read, "We saw you leave." The email body contained a single link, a video titled "The Lost Security Footage." I didn't click it, but I saw the thumbnail. It was a still image of me, standing in the hotel lobby. My eyes wide, my face pale. And behind me, the receptionist was watching, smiling.